All right, are you ready for Romeo and Juliet Act 4? We are almost there. I do apologize if you hear any background noise. My kids are home with me, of course, and they are watching Cars. So I am sorry about that. But hey, if you like the movie Cars, maybe you'll recognize a couple of parts. That also being said, I have a new joke. Are you ready? And this one I like too because I just got a few little baby chicks at my house. So cute. Maybe I'll take a picture. I don't know if any of you have chicks or not. So this is my kind of question answer joke because I know you guys love these so much. Okay. So why don't eggs tell jokes? So the question is, why don't eggs tell jokes? Are you ready? Because they crack each other up. So why don't eggs tell jokes? Because they crack each other up. I know that's a good one, isn't it? All right, the code for today's video is eggs. So if you send me a private email or write in the comment for the assignment, not for the video, but for the actual assignment, eggs, then I know you've watched the video and I can give you a point or two for the participation of following along. Hopefully this is helping you. I know it's a little corny when I record these, so thanks for bearing with me on this. But hopefully, it's been helping because each year of high school you will be reading a Shakespearean text, and I think that the more you get used to it and you figure out how to kind of decode it, the better it'll be. And I've been so proud of you guys. I've really seen how your decoding skills have advanced throughout this year. So I think we're in pretty good shape. All right, so that being said, let's get to Act 4 because we're going to finish up. Now, I know it looks like you've got a lot of reading, but Act 4 and Act 5 are a lot shorter than kind of like Act 3. So keep that in mind too. Okay, so we got a lot going on. So Romeo and Juliet were just married for a few hours, and then we know that in Act 3, Juliet's cousin Tybalt kills Mercutio, one of Romeo's best friends. So then Romeo, he at first didn't want to get involved. He was holding Mercutio down to not fight Tybalt, and then Mercutio died and kind of said, "It's your fault, Romeo. You shouldn't have tried to hold me down to stop the fight." So he kind of puts a curse in both their houses. And then Romeo and Tybalt get into a fight, and unfortunately, Romeo kills Tybalt, and so the prince banishes him for that action. So Juliet, Tybalt is her cousin, is, yes, upset about Tybalt's death, but she's more upset about the fact that he's banished, and she's heartbroken. But she sends her ring along with a nurse so that Romeo, wherever he's at, he's with Friar Lawrence, will know that she still wants him to come. Like it's a sign of her loyalty and the marriage vows. So they spend some time together, but he has to leave during this process because the Capulet family is so sad about what happened to their cousin that Lord Capulet arranges a marriage between Paris and Juliet. And he lets Juliet know, thinking she'd be happy, and this will get her away from crying because he thinks she's crying over Tybalt. And she says she will not marry him. And he basically says he'll disown her if that's what she's going to do. So she is very desperate. The nurse she tries to ask the nurse for advice, and the nurse even kind of tells her, well, you should just marry him. It's not like Romeo's going to be coming back. He's he's banished. So what else could you do? And so this is kind of where we're left. Juliet feels very desperate. I mean, this is a tough situation. I was even trying to think of myself, what would I do if I was in this situation? Oh, and there's kind of cons any way you look at it, some major ones. So this is her going to talk to, or well, before that, we're going to be in Friar Lawrence's cell, and actually Paris is going to be talking. Who's supposed to be marrying her is going to talk to Friar Lawrence first, and then we'll see what happens. So enter Friar Lawrence in County Paris. On Thursday, sir, the time is very short. My father Capulet will have it so, and I'm nothing slow to slack his haste. So here they're making plans about the marriage. Friar Lawrence obviously married Romeo and Juliet. He can't let anyone know that, but this puts him in a difficult position. So Paris is letting Friar Lawrence know that my father-in-law wants us to get married, and I'm not someone that's very slow about it, so I'm not going to drag my feet. We'll do it. And he says, you say you do not know the lady's mind. Uneven is the course. I like it not. So Friar Lawrence is kind of trying to stall, and he's like, well, you don't know what her opinion is. I don't really like marrying her if I don't know that. So then Paris responds, immoderately she weeps for Tybalt's death, and therefore have I little talked of love. For Venus smiles not in a house of tears. Now, sir, her father counts it dangerous that she not give her sorrow so much sway, and as wisdom hastens our marriage, to stop the inundation of her tears, which too much minded by yourself alone may be put from her by society. Now you know the reason of the haste. So he says right now she's so upset about Tybalt's death that she can't focus on love. The goddess of love, Venus, is not really kind of paying attention to her. That's an illusion here, smiling upon her. And she's so sad that her father is very nervous, like something's going to happen to her. And hopefully, this happiness of marriage and having a partner with her can kind of save her from her sorrow. So if you look here, like Paris, he doesn't know really anything about Romeo. It doesn't seem like he necessarily has bad intentions. He thinks he's going to be able to help her. So then Friar Lawrence, this is an aside. So Paris is not going to hear what this is. I knew not why it should be slowed. So he's saying, gosh, I wish I really didn't know the real reason why this is being slowed. It's really because of Romeo. Look, now this is what he's saying here to Paris. Look, sir, here comes a lady towards my cell. So then all of a sudden they're having this talk and lo and behold, there's Juliet. Happily met, my lady and my wife. That may be, sir, when I may be a wife. So she says, that's not the case yet. I am not your wife. That may be, it must be, love on Thursday next. So he's saying, well, we will be married on Thursday. What must be, shall be. So she's saying, what will be, will be. Is that saying they're married, or is that saying something else? That's a certain text. So Friar Lawrence is saying, yep, that's true. So come ye to make confession to this father? To answer that I should confess to you. Do not deny to him that you love me. I will confess to you that I love him. And so you will notice a lot of times in Juliet's conversations, she's actually speaking the truth, but she's being very ambiguous about it and is not saying exactly who he is. So we've had the situation where she even was talking about she'd rather be married to Romeo or she'd rather be dead. And she really was saying she'd rather be married to Romeo. Here, she's saying, I do not deny that I love him. So Paris is thinking, oh, cool, you're not going to deny that you love me. You love me. That's wonderful. But really, she's referring to Romeo. If I do so, it'll be more of a price being spoke behind your back than to your face. Poor soul, that face is so much more abused with tears, so you feel sad for her for crying. The tears have got victory by that, for it was bad enough before their spite. Thou wrongest more than tears without report. There is no slander, sir, which is a truth, and when I spake it to my face. Thy face is mine, and thou hast slandered it. And may be so, for it is not my own. Are you at leisure, Holy Father, now, or shall I come to you at evening mass? So again, Paris is saying, like, everything about you is mine, and she says, yes, it is true that my face is not my own. But really, again, it's where she's really saying because it's Romeo's. She's not outright saying that, and so Paris thinks that she's talking about their wedding vows. But again, she still can't even deny him or really go along with it in real life. So are you at leisure, Holy Father, now, or shall I come to you at evening mass? My leisure serves me, pensive daughter, now. My lord, we must entreat this time alone. So she's saying that she's going to have a separate confession to deal with her sins before, like, this marriage.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so sorry about that. So what I was saying about confession is Juliet doesn't get to leave the house very often. So seeing Friar Lawrence and making confession before marriage, though, would be a reason to leave the house. I mean, that's how she got to marry Romeo and leave at this time. So now she's saying she has confession and needs to speak to Friar Lawrence before her marriage to Paris. Okay, hold on here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so Paris exits. Oh, shut the door. And when thou hast done so, come weep with me. Pass hope, pass cure, pass help. So she thinks that come cry with me because it seems like a awful situation. I don't even know what to do. Oh, Juliet, I already know thy grief. It strains me past the compass of my wits. I hear thou must, and nothing may prolong it. On Thursday next, be married to this county. So he says, I know your grief, that you're going to have to get married. And she says, tell me not, friar, that thou hearest of this, unless thou tells me how I may prevent it. It is thy wisdom that thou canst give no help. Do thou but call my resolution wise, and with this knife I'll help it presently. God joins my heart and Romeo's, thou our hands. And ere his hand by thee to God to Romeo sealed, shall be the label to another deed, or my true heart with treacherous revolt, turn to another, they shall slay them both. Therefore, out of the long experienced time, give me some present counsel, or behold, twixt my extremes and me this bloody knife. shall pay the umpire, appreciating that which the commission of thy years and art could be no issue of true honor bring. Be not so long to speak, I long to die. If thou speakest, speak not of remedy. So she's pretty desperate. She says, if you don't basically help me, then I'm going to kill myself because I cannot live with my heart being married to Romeo and then having to be married to another. That would make me feel like I'm dying emotionally and I can't do it. So if you don't have advice for me, then this is what I'm going to do. I'm desperate and I don't feel like there's, a point of going on. This is my decision. So if you imagine, Friar Lawrence is in a very difficult situation here. So, hold, daughter, I do spy a kind of hope, which craves as desperation as execution, and thou is desperate, which we would prevent. If rather than to marry County Paris, thou hast the strength of will to slay thyself, then it is likely thou will undertake a thing like death to chide away from shame. Thou caps was death himself to escape from it. If thou darest, I'll give thee remedy. So he's saying, okay, hold on. I do have some kind of hope for you. Because listen, your life, I'm going to say this is like my chat here, and he's saying it to you, your life is more important than anything else going on. It's important that we keep you alive. So if you feel this desperate, let's get you the help that you need. Important too in real life. If you're having a hard time, it's important that you reach out to guardians, parents, those you trust to get the help that you need. Now, this is fiction with Shakespeare, so we'll see what Friar Lawrence's help is. So he's saying if you're desperate enough that you are going to kill yourself rather than marry County Paris because you don't want to deal with the shame of, marrying two people at the same time and knowing that that's really happening, then I can help you take care of this in a way that's kind of risky and involves death. So now you're thinking, what is going on? So she says, oh, bid me leap rather than marry Paris from off the battlements of any tower, or walk into thievish ways, or bid me lurk where serpents are, chain me with the roaring bears, or hide me nightly in a charnel house, or uncovered quiet with dead man's rattling bones, with reeky shanks and yellow shapless skulls. Or bid me go into the new maid's grave, and bid me with a dead man in a shroud, things that to hear them told have made me tremble, and I will do it without fear or doubt, to live an unstained wife to my sweet love. So she basically gives all these examples of things that she'll do, like deal with like a bear, deal with like thieves, be in a grave. She says basically, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I'm a pure wife to my Romeo and that I don't get married to someone else and not with someone else, but that I'm pure. That's the most important thing. So let's see exactly what plan he has. He says, hold then, go home, be merry, give consent to marry Paris. Wednesday's tomorrow, and tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not the nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. Take thou this vial, being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off, when presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor, for no pulse shall keep his native progress but surcease. No warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. Thy roses in thy lips and cheeks shall fade. To many ashes thy eyes' windows fall, like death when he shuts up the day of life. Each part deprived of supple government shall stiff and stark and cold appear like death. And in the borrowed likeness of shrunk death, thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake, as from a present sleep. And when the bridegroom in the morning goes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. Then as thy manner of his county is in thy best robes and covered at the briar, thou shalt be borne to the same ancient vault where all this kindreds of Capulets lie. In the meantime, against thou shalt awake, shall Romeo be in my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come, and he and I will watch by thy waking. And that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua, and this shall free them from this present shame, and an inconstant toy nor womanish fear abate thy valor in thy acting it. Okay, so this is the plan. He is going to give her, he says, first off, you're going to go home, you're going to be happy, and you're going to say that you will marry Paris. Then tomorrow night, when you are alone, make sure that the nurse is not with you and that you're completely alone. You are going to drink this poison. I don't know what poison is. Poison. And this is going to basically give you all the signs of death. You're going to be cold and drowsy. You're not going to have any breath. There's going to be like no color to your face. You're going to look completely dead. No pulse. And so again, when somebody comes in the morning, it'll look like you're dead. And really, you're going to be sleeping for like 24 hours. And it won't be unpleasant. It'll be a pleasant sleep. And while this is happening, he's going to get a hold of Romeo, the bridegroom. He's also going to get a hold of Romeo. Oh, sorry. Sydney is barking. Boy, it's noisy at my house. Okay, I apologize. My German Shepherd was saving me from, you guessed it, the mailman. Poor mailman. I'm sorry. Appreciate everyone who has to do that. I know dog barking. It's not always pleasant when you're trying to do your job. Okay. anyway, so basically in the morning she is going to appear dead, and she won't be able to get married, and so they will put her in, they'll have to bury her and put her in the Capulet's vault, or like kind of tomb where they like have, since they're a family of money, there's almost think like Egyptian tomb, like there's several, like the whole family, like past generations are buried there, so it's not like she'll be able to breathe and everything. And while that's happening, and she's actually asleep there, which would be kind of creepy, right? Romeo is going to know what's going on because Friar Lawrence is going to send some letters to him to let him know. And so when she does wake up in the vault, no worries, because Friar Lawrence and Romeo will be there. And then they will then take her to Mantua to be with Romeo, and she won't have to deal with any of this. Now, he does say, don't let, fear get in the way. You cannot, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to be brave. So this is the plan. Kind of risky of a plan, if you ask me, but this is the plan. This might help you answer one of your questions too, by the way. So what do you think Juliet's going to do? She's pretty desperate. So she says, give me, oh, tell me not of fear. So she says, no, I'm not afraid. I'm going to do it. So Friar Lawrence said, hold, get you gone. Be strong and prosperous in this resolve. I'll send a friar with speed to Mantua with my letters to thy lord. So he's saying, I'm going to, so you do your part, and I'm going to get those letters to Romeo so he knows what's really going on. Lord, give me strength, and strength shall help afford. Farewell, dear father. Okay, so let's see how this is going to play out, shall we? So here's a hall in the Capulet's house. So enter Father Capulet, mother, nurse, and servingman, 2 or 3. So many guests invite here, as here are writ. Sirrah, go hire me 20 cunning cooks. So they're trying to hire some cooks right now at the Capulet house for the upcoming wedding, hopefully. You shall have none, sir, for I'll try if they can to lick their fingers. How can thou try so? Many, 'tis an ill cook that cannot lick his own fingers. Therefore, he that cannot lick his own fingers goes not with me. I'll go and be gone. So here we have kind of a joke, like we're going to hire some cooks here. We only hire cooks that can lick their own fingers, meaning that we only want to hire cooks that actually like their own cooking, because that means it's pretty good. Makes sense, right? So then as we continue, we'll see what's going on at the Capulet house. So we shall be much and furnished at the time. What if my daughter has gone to Friar Lawrence? So he's wanting to know what's going on with Juliet. Again, he was very angry with her about not following his will. So the nurse goes, aye, forsooth. So meaning it's true. She's at Friar Lawrence's. Well, he may chance to do some good on her. A peevish, self-willed harlotry it is. So he's saying, I hope that he helps her because she's a spoiled brat. So nice, right? See where she comes from shift with merry look. So, oh, look, there should be good news because she's coming back from confession and she's happy, and we know she was very upset earlier. How now, my headstrong? Where have you been getting? So, hey, headstrong girl, where have you been? Where I've learned not to repent the sin of disobedient opposition to you on your behest, and I'm enjoined by holy Lawrence to fall prostrate here, to beg your pardon, and pardon I beseech you. Henceforth I'm ever ruled by you. So she says she repents from her sin of not obeying him and causing conflict, and that she is asking for forgiveness, and that she will obey him for now on and do as he says. So Lord Capulet says, send for thy county. Go tell him of this. I'll have this knot tied up tomorrow morning. So he's like, great, we're even going to get married sooner. So let's get somebody to marry them. I met the youthful lord at Lawrence's cell, and gave him what behold love I might, not stepping over the bounds of modesty. So she said, I actually already met Saul Paris and let him know. But I was still modest and acted appropriately. Why, I'm glad. That is well. Stand up. That is all should be. Let me see thy county. Ah, Mary, go, I say, and fetch him hither. Now, for God, this reverend holy friar, and all of our whole city, is much bound to him. So he's so happy that she had a change of heart. So he's like, oh man, we owe Friar Lawrence, because he helped her kind of see the truth and obey me. So Juliet goes, nurse, will you go with me to my closet to help me sort with needful ornaments, as they may fit to furnish me tomorrow? So she wants help getting ready. No, not till Thursday. There's time enough. Go, nurse, go with her. We'll go to church tomorrow. And so he's saying, oh no, well, let's get ready for marriage as soon as possible. So Lady Capulet's going, oh, we shall be short in our provision. 'Tis now near night. So it's almost nighttime. Like, how are we going to be ready for a marriage tomorrow? Tush, I will stir about. All these things shall be well. I warrant thee, wife. Go thou to Juliet. Help to deck her up her. I'll not go to bed tonight. Let me alone. I'll play the housewife for this once. What ho! They're all forth well I will walk myself to county Paris to prepare up him against tomorrow. My heart is wondrous light, since the same wayward girl is so reclaimed. So he's saying, hey, wife, you go help Juliet. I will do kind of your nightly chores for you. With this, he's calling for the servants, and then we'll get County Paris up, and we'll kind of get a marriage tomorrow going on. I'm so glad my wayward daughter has changed her mind and she's willing to do this. Wonderful, right? Is it wonderful? We will see. So here we're in Juliet's chambers as she's getting ready. So enter Juliet and nurse. Ah, these attires are best, but gentle nurse, I pray thee leave me to myself tonight, for I have need of many orisons, to move the heavens to smile upon my state, which thou well knowest is cross and full of sin. So she's basically telling, because the nurse actually does know, remember, that she's already married to Romeo. So she's saying, oh, I need time alone tonight. I got what I need ready. I need to just pray and get rid of my sin and just reflect before tomorrow. Because she has to be alone for this to work, right? So then enter Lady Capulet. Were you busy? Need you my help? No, madam, we have called such necessaries. Are you behoven full for her state tomorrow? So please you, let me know, be left alone. And let the nurse this night sit up with you, for I'm sure you have your hands full in this sudden business. So she says, no, we're fine. Actually, have the nurse help you. I'm good, and I'm sure you need it to get ready for tomorrow. So again, Juliet's trying to be alone. So Lady Capulet says, good night. Go thee to bed and rest, for thou hast need. So get some rest, you need it. So then we have Lady Capulet and nurse leaving. So then Juliet's going to have kind of a soliloquy here where she talks. So she says, farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint cold fear that thrills my veins, that almost freezes up the heat of life. I'll call them back again and comfort me. So she's saying goodbye because, well, if this plan works, then maybe she'll be with Romeo and Mantua. And I mean, this is going to make a big change in her life. I mean, what if it goes wrong? She just has this like feeling of dread, and it almost makes her freeze up and not want to do it. So she thinks for a moment that, hey, maybe I'll call them and have them comfort me. But she goes, nurse, what should she do here? My dismal scene, I must act alone. So she realizes, no, I'm not going to call for the nurse because it's not going to be any help. What could she do? So come, vial, the vials with the poison is in. And again, some of these are tough questions. If you remember some of our signposts, kind of helps us see her internal conflict as she's trying to figure this out. What if this mixture does not work at all? Shall I be married then tomorrow morning? No, no, this shall forbid it. Lie thou there. And she lies down a dagger. What if poison which the friar subtly had ministered to have me dead? Lest in this marriage he should be dishonored. So then she's starting to get a little afraid before she takes this, because she goes, well, what if this poison actually really will kill me? Because, you know, the Friar Lawrence knows that he also married us, and maybe he could get in trouble because he's willingly maybe possibly marrying me again. So she's getting afraid, like maybe I shouldn't take this because it really will kill me. I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he has been tried a holy man. She goes, no, it can't be that, because he actually is a holy man. How if when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo comes to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not be stifled in the vault, whose foul mouth no healthsome air breathes in, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes? Or if I live, it is not very like the horrible conceit of death and night, together with the terror of the place as in a vault, with ancient recompensal, while for the many hundreds of years the bones of all my buried ancestors are packed, where bloody Tybalt, yet but green in earth, lies festering in a shroud, where, as they say, at some hours in the night spirits resort. Alack, alack, it is not like that. So early waking, with those loathsome smells and shrieks like may drakes torn out of the earth, that living mortals hearing them run mad. Or if I wake, shall I not be distraught? So she's saying, like, well, what happened if I wake up and Romeo's not there and I'm alone in the vault? That's kind of creepy. What if I feel like I can't breathe? There's my dead family members that are near me. I mean, Tybalt was just buried. Oh. And so she says, alack, it is not like that. So early waking up with loathsome smells and shrieks like mandrakes torn out of the earth, living mortals hearing them run mad. Or if I wake, shall I not be distraught? And vired with all those hideous fears, and madly plucked with my forefathers' joints, and plucked the mangled Tybalt from his shroud, and in this rage with some kinsman bones, as with a club dash out of my desperate brains. She goes, what if like Tybalt is a ghost and he tries to get me or something because he's trying to get revenge on Romeo? Her mind's definitely playing all these crazy what if scenarios, but I mean, this is a pretty crazy plan. So methinks I see my cousin's ghost seeking out Romeo that did spit his body upon a rapier's point. Stay, Tybalt, stay. Romeo, Romeo, I drink to thee. And she realizes, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, for Romeo. And so she falls upon the bed with the curtains. So let's see what happens with the plan. Are you ready? Okay, so Hall and the Capulets housing in there trying to get ready for a wedding. So hold, take these kings and fetch more spices, nurse. They call for dates and quinces in the pastries, and so then enter Lord Capulet. Come, stir, stir, the second clock hath crowed, the curfew bell has rung, 'tis 3 o'clock. Look to the baked meats, good Angelica, spare not for cost. So he's saying, okay, get the best of everything, because we're getting ready for this wedding. No, not a wit. Or she says, go, you quarter gun, go you to bed. Faith, you'll be sick tomorrow for this night's watching. She's saying, we're fine, we got this. You need to go to bed, you're going to get sick. You said, no, not a wit. What I've watched her now all night for lesser cause, never been sick. He's saying, I've been up a lot later than this before and never gotten sick. So she goes, you have been a mouse hunt in your time, but I will watch you from sure watching now. So here you go, guys. Some more lingo. Are you ready? A mouse hunt. Yeah, so he was a woman chaser or a ladies' man in his time. So maybe we can bring that saying back, mouse hunt. Yeah, wonderful, right? So that's so again, you can tell like the mood in the house is a lot lighter and they're a lot happier as Lady Capulet is calling Lord Capulet a ladies' man. Okay, so enter lady and nurse, a jealous hood, and then enter 3 or 4 fellows with spits and logs and baskets. Now, fellow, what is there? Things for the cook, sir, but I do not know what. Make haste, make haste. Arrah, fetch drier logs. Call Peter, he will show thee when they are. So here's some servants getting ready. I have a head, sir, that will find out logs, and never trouble Peter for thy matter. Mass and well, son. A merry horse and ha, that should be a loggerhead. So here he's just joking around. A lot of times you'll see, like with the servants and stuff, we've got some comic relief. And so basically they're saying that you have logs, like we're calling them blockheads. You're not very smart. So good faith till day, the county will be held with music straight, for he said he would. I hear him near, wife. Wife, what ho, what nurse, I say. Go waken Juliet and trim her up. I'll go chat with Paris. Hi, make haste, make haste. The bridegroom here has come already. Make haste, I say. So they're hearing music, so that means that we know that Paris is coming and it's time for the wedding. How wonderful. So let's hurry up. Time flies when you're getting ready for a wedding, right? Let's see what happens, because we have all this happiness and even joking. Okay, so enters Juliet's chamber. Here's the nurse. Mistress, what mistress? Juliet, fast, I warn her. She, why, lamb, my lady. Ah, you slug a bed. So she's saying, like, get out of bed, you sleepy head. I'm sure you've heard that before, right? Why, love, I say. Madam, sweetheart. Why, bride? Why not a word? You take your penny worth now. Sleep for a week for the next night, I warrant. So she's, like, making jokes with her. The county Paris has set up his rest, that you shall rest but little. Oh, God forgive me. Marry and amen. How sound as I sleep. I must need wake her. Madam, Madam? Madam? I'll let the county take you up in your bed. He'll fright you up till I faith, will it not? So she draws aside the curtains, making jokes about how she should wake up. I am wet dressed in your clothes and down again. I must need waken you. Lady, lady, lady. Alas, alas, help, help. My lady's dead. Or a day that ever I was born. Some aqua vitae ho. My lady, my lord, my lady. And then enters Lady Capulet. So she thinks that Juliet is dead. What noise is here? A lamentable day. So the nurse goes, oh, it's such a sad day. What is the matter? Look, oh, heavy day. Oh me, my child, my only life. Revive, look up, or we'll die with thee. Help me, call help. So she's saying, oh my gosh, my child, my only reason for living is lying there. And so then Lord Capulet enters. For shame, bring Juliet forth, her lord is come. She's dead, deceased, she's dead, alack the day. Alack the day, she's dead, she's dead. Han, let me see her. Out, alas, she's cold. Her blood is settled, and her joints are stiff. Life and these lips have long been separated. Death lies on her like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of the field. So he realizes too that she's dead. And he says, you know, death came too quick for someone so young. O lamentable day, a woeful time. Death, that have taken her hence to make me wail, ties up my tongue and will not let me speak. So he's basically saying he's speechless now because his daughter has passed away. Come, is the bride ready to go to church? So we're entering here Friar Lawrence, county parent, and musicians who are there to play throughout the day of this happy wedding day, right? No, not really. Um, Ready to go, but never to return. O son, the night before thy wedding day, hast death lain with thy wife. There she lies, flower she was there, deflowered by him. Death is my son-in-law, death is my heir. My daughter he hath wedded, I will die. And leave him all, life, living, all his deaths. So they're personifying death here and saying that his daughter now belongs to death, and she now was never able to really get married. And that is what happened. So again, there might be even some regret. I mean, think about how they had treated her before this. Now her mother had said, like that she was what was worth living and whatnot. They're really realizing what they had lost. So then Paris responds, have I thought love to see this morning's faith? And doth it give me in such a sight at this? So I'd waited so long to get married, and now this is what's happening to this day? A cursed, unhappy, wretched, hateful day, most miserable hour that's ever time saw, and lasting labor of his pilgrimage. But one poor and loving child, but one thing to rejoice and solace in, and cruel death hath catched it from my sight. Oh woe, a woeful, woeful day, most lamentable day, most woeful day that ever I did yet behold. Oh day, oh day, oh day, hateful day. Never was seen so black a day as this, a woeful day, a woeful day. So she just keeps repeating how terrible the day it is. Beguiled, divorced, wronged, spited, and slain, most detestable death by thee beguiled, by cruel, thee yet quite overthrown. O love, O life, not life, but love and death. And so Paris is obviously very distraught about this too. Despised, distressed, hated, martyred, killed. Uncomfortable time, why comes thou now? To murder our solemnity. So he's like, how could this happen? This is my only daughter, my only heir. O child, my soul and not my child. Death art thou. Alack, my child is dead. And with my child, my joys are buried. Saying without my child, I don't have any joy. So then Friar Lawrence comes and he's going to give some advice. Peace over shame. Confession cures lives not in these confessions. Heaven yourself. So he's saying like the remedy for this calamity is not to be found in the outcry. So being miserable like this is not going to make anything better. Had part in the friar maid, now heaven hath all. And now all the better is for the maid. Your part is her, and you could not keep from death. But heaven keeps his part in eternal life. The most you sought was her promotion, for 'twas your heaven she was not in advanced. And weep ye now, seeing she is advanced. Above the clouds, as high as heaven itself. And this love your child so ill, that you run mad, seeing that she is well. She's now well married, and that lives married long. But she's best married, that dies married young. So he's saying she's in a better place now. Don't run yourself crazy. And, at least she's the best marriage for her actually is that she died married young. At least she married like the right person. Now notice, again, Friar Lawrence doesn't necessarily lie, but he is kind of alluding to what's going on here. Yeah, she married young. So they think he's talking about Paris, but again, it's actually talking about Romeo. So you have like these double meanings here. So dry up your tears and stick your rosemary of this fair corpse, and as the custom is in the best array, bear her to church. So he's saying like get her ready for burial. For though fond nature bids us all lament, yet nature's tears are reason merriment. So he's saying, we're gonna get ready for a funeral, but we should be happy that Juliet is in heaven. All things that we are ordained festival turn from this office to black funeral. So he's saying here we were getting ready for a wedding, and now we're getting ready for a burial. Our instruments to melancholy bells, our wedding cheer to sad burial feast, our solemn hymns to sullen dirges changed, our bridal flowers serve for a buried corpse, and all things change them to the contrary. So the friar says, "Sir, go you in, and madam, go with him. And go, Sir Paris, everyone prepare to follow this fair corpse upon her grave, that heavens do lower upon you for some ill, move them no more by crossing her at high will." So they exit, casting rosemary on her and shutting the curtains. The nurse and musicians remain. So the rest of this is kind of just the musicians going back and forth, making a few jokes for comic relief about changing the song, and you better change the song to, because they were there to do a wedding, and now they're there to do a funeral. I'm not going to read the last page because I think you can read that, and it's not terribly necessary for the story. But again, let me know if you are wanting to help with that meeting. I'm more than happy to do that. But I am going to get on to reading, hopefully, Act 5 for you later today as well. All right, guys, you've got one more act left, and it's not very long, and it'll be very dramatic. So hang in there. All right, thank you.